So, good morning, everybody. Well, thank you for Com-Forth, and especially thank you for Peter to inviting me here to this great event. It's very nice to be here. Even if I'm not speaking Hungarian, but it's a great event that this is the way how you can raise the awareness of the OT cybersecurity. My presentation today is about how Valmet, the company where I'm from, is dealing latest requirements from the customer side, NIS2 requirements, how we are facing and together with the customers or customer professionals from the IT side or from the OT side, how we are trying to do that together to make sure that everything will be complied, or at least the risk would be mitigated to the acceptable level. I'm not going to talk about NIS2 itself, so I hope you learn it somewhere else. There have been, I guess, already quite nice presentation about this topic. But its presentation is more or less how we are dealing the NIS2 requirements. First of all, I'm coming from Finland, been working with Valmet 13 years. 7 years about I have been specializing to the OT cybersecurity world, so that's my specialty. So I have a couple of certifications for that. The latest 4 years ago in my adulthood, I actually achieved my master engineering thesis for the cybersecurity. So I have been investing a lot to learning security-related things to able to help and provide support for Valmet internal organization, but also for the customers. My main role is supporting in the customer service side, whatever customers are requesting or whatever people from Valmet side is asking support because they are facing these challenging questions from the IT side or from the OT specialist cybersecurity people. Is Valmet something that, who knows what Valmet is doing? Raise your hand. Not much, okay. Okay, so we are quite big company coming from Finland, so the whole Valmet is maybe known from the paper and pulp mill. So we are building a paper machines. That's maybe the one product that everybody knows from us. But we have also this automation solution business segment from where I'm coming from. So what we are doing, we are building control systems, automation control systems. So we have the main branch of Valmet DNA, which is the distributed control system, what we are delivering with the paper machines or power mills. But I'm coming from the IT side of the Valmet, or the OT side of the Valmet, so we are building automation control system. And that said, because we are delivering DCS system, not only to the pulp and paper side, the same DCS or similar products are used in different segments of our customer, in different industrial segments. So same components, same computer system, same controller might be running in the energy side, which is more critical, which you are also in here, critical segments. Maritime business, we have the same components, similar DCS systems within the maritime ships. So we are building an control automation system that we are mainly using pulp and paper energy. It might be running also in the cruise ship. But of course, in different process industry generally, we might be delivering this DCS system. And of course, when we are talking about the risk of cybersecurity or threats, what kind of threats there are, each segments might have different ones, of course. Pulp and paper, it's usually money. Energy, it's more because it's critical. It's very targeted nowadays, as we know. Maritime, the consequences are quite heavy, especially with the people on board in the cruise ships. The consequences are also different, so meaning the risks are different. and everybody need to understand how they assess these risks, how they mitigate the risks, not to forgetting that the automation control system need to be always available. And if it's not, how you can recover the automation system. And this is what we are, as a Valmet, we are facing all the time. That how we can, in different industry segments, how we can provide different solutions to mitigate the risks what customer has. Whether it's in different country or different industry, basically. What is also driving this is, I guess, nowadays the awareness of different topics related to OT or industrial control system cybersecurity requirements. Key driver for us, NIS2 already has been discussed in many places. That's now one thing which is driving and forcing also suppliers like Valmet to work and deploy our automation system and services in certain way. ISC 62443, awareness of that and requirements what are coming from there, it's one of the maybe key topics that each customer case where there are any kind of requirements related to cybersecurity, they are usually referencing to the ISC 62443. If you don't know the standard and you are working on the OT side, cybersecurity, that is the, maybe in my opinion, one of the important ones that you should be learning. It's like giving instructions, guidelines, standards for the asset owners. It gives like requirements for the systems. It gives requirements for the product developers like Valmet, the components developers, so 4-1 and 4-2. So it's not only for product vendors, it's not only for who are manufacturing control system devices, but it's also for service providers, also for the asset owners. It gives a lot instructions, guidelines, how you should do that. So follow that one. If you need to choose something, that's the one. Also the maritime, it's missing from the slide, but maritime is now having their own requirements for the ship side, and they are actually based on the ISC 62443. So it's very global standard and very, very useful thing to understand, whatever you are doing. CRI is coming, of course, that's one topic which will touch a lot of, especially for the vendors like us. Then we go actually the topic itself. So my presentation mainly talks about these two, how we are handling the requirements from the customer side and how we are doing that with the TX1 technologies in this case. So TX1, which is also presented in here, we have partnership with them, and that's like how I'm now going to drive my presentation, that how we are using TX1 technology to answer some of the requirements that customer has. I'm not going to go details. If you have more questions, you can ask them later. But anyway, starting point is the understanding the risk that you have. In the NIS2 world, it's usually a lot of, at least in Finland side and Europe, what I have seen, it's maybe auditing the NIS2 requirements, pre-audits, before the legislation will be enforced. Companies are a lot of doing these pre-audits related to NIS2. So are they working in the right way? But anyway, you should always, as an asset owner, have some kind of risk assessment now for the OT production. It can be high level or it can be detailed level. And Valmet is facing this a lot. And if it's more detailed level assessment, we are using TX1 technology tools to provide asset list, for example. that's usually what everybody wants to understand nowadays, that what kind of devices we have on the production, what we need to protect. And one way how Valmet is doing that is using TX1 products. Assessment is also introduced in the ISC 62443. That's very popular now for the power sector, energy sector. So follow that one. There's a tight steps how to do that. It's very good way to do it. But there are also a lot of audits methods simplified for the NIS2, of course. NIS2, one of the things, in this slide are actually the three most important things are this risk assessment, understanding the risks. That's all about NIS2, managing the risks, what you have. But then the second one is usually now the recovery capabilities. Do you have business continuity? In the critical sector, you need to understand how long your production, if you are providing energy, somebody will need to ask from you that how long it will take you will be able to recover the power plant, for example. So business continuity planning, meaning for the control systems, meaning the backups. How well you know what kind of backups you have, how long it will take you to recover from those backups. Usually these are very well done in automation OT systems, but the problem usually is that it's not documented so that the people who are responsible of the risks or cybersecurity things, they don't have the visibility. One key point is also that are these backups tested, so recovery testing, that's more and more seen nowadays. So it's not enough that you are taking the backup, you also need to verify, will it work or will it not? Then third one, the key topic that is happening is the network segmentation, network improvements, remote access. What kind of remote access is? So every critical entity who has vendors and multiple remote connection solutions, they are wanting to harmonize that one and rip off everything from the vendor because they don't have any visibility, they don't have any control to the remote controls, the remote connections by the vendor. That's one key topic. Then the network segmentation improvements, generally, they are being added more and more. Like Valmet DCS system, we do have segments by firewalling, but it's not maybe anymore enough. So that's why you need to introduce something like intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems. So that would be the improvement on the network level. And that's why we have the TX1 solution, that if the traditional segmentation is not working for you, then you can add more segregation by using IPS. It doesn't fit every place, you need to think about it. But for example, untrusted communication, IT to OT communication, that's very well placed to put the IPS event there, so prevention mode technology. But also if you have these links between different systems, you have multiple vendors, and you are still using Modbus TCP, for example. IPS technology, what we are using from TX1, we can, like a whitelist, approve the protocol level with the deep package inspection methods that Paul was just talking about also. So that's very well and nice way to do that. So if you have untrusted link between two different systems, firewall is not enough. You just need to do the IPS mode also. Then three more NIS2 topics. Everybody is talking about, especially in the NIS2, you need to manage the vulnerabilities. Well, you have a lot of them, especially if you are running old systems, and usually we are running old systems. But you need to, for the risk management, you need to understand what kind of vulnerabilities you have. I would not focus on patching everything, but at least try to understand what you have, how critical they are, are they related to your system? So if you have Windows operating system or certain device with high or critical level vulnerabilities, it doesn't mean that your factory is immediately in risk that somebody will attack to that, because it should be isolated, it should be not connected to internet. Many things need to be failing before somebody can actually attack to that critical vulnerability. But key thing is that you understand what kind of vulnerabilities you have there. For us, how we are doing it is using TX1 technology. Once again, we can do that from the network level side or by collecting the asset inventories with the element solutions. We can mitigate the vulnerability impact by using this endpoint protection Stellar, which is also something that is changing heavily. Antivirus is not anymore enough from the vendor side. Everybody is asking that can we install this EDR solution for the control system. That's usually no, we don't want to do that. We don't know what happens. Instead of that, we are providing Stellar endpoint protection capabilities, meaning that we can do the application lockdown. We can get more visibility from there. And the threat visibility is maybe the number 2 importance of the NIS2. So do you have logs? Can we investigate logs? What happens if there's a incident in the IT side? Can we start monitoring the OT side? And do we have compromised indications on the OT side? That usually needs logs to be collected. Well, in the control system, we are generating a lot of logs. But problem is that we are not maybe investigating them. But we can provide that with the TX1 solution, more visibility, or by collecting logs from the control system to be monitored somewhere else. Last thing is in the NIS2 that you need to have agreements for the security-related requirements. Who is the service provider? Who is responsible? And what they are responsible for. Those need to be written on the paper and agreed who is responsible in case something is happened. This is also what NIS2 auditors are usually asking, that who is providing you the services, do you have any security services, and what it contains. And the problem is that what it actually has as a service from you, that's not so well defined. I'm running out of the time. But anyway, Stellar or TX1 solutions are what we have selected because we have them from the TX1 product portfolio. We have good solutions for the endpoint, for the network level, but also to the asset inventories and audit capabilities. So one shop, we can get all the technologies. And for the visibility, everything can be directed to one place. So you can have the visibility or central place for the security operations center or people who are responsible monitoring the security. You can provide that. So that's why we have selected TX1. Last summary slide, ISC 62443, I love it. It's a very big one. But if we think about, there's 3 levels that you need to assess. You need to then implement something based on the risk that you have. You need to have countermeasures. And then you need to maintain it. So it's not enough that security technology will be deployed for you. You need to also maintain it. Maintaining might be meaning also monitoring. Yes, that's all from my side. And like I said, I will be available here for the questions, unless there is already something you want to ask. Any brave ones? Thank you.